Chosen one, the moment you stepped into the grand world arena, reality itself hesitated. Cameras didn't malfunction, they bowed. Physics didn't break, it recalibrated around you. Billions watched the broadcast freeze. But only a few understood the truth. You weren't inside the glitch. You were the cause of it. Every engineer swore the system was flawless. Every technician checked their monitors twice. But none of them could explain why the lights bent toward you, why shadows reversed direction, or why the stadium's sound lagged by exactly 0.7 seconds, the same length of time your presence eclipsed the broadcast. They blamed interference. They blamed overload. They blamed anything but the truth. The moment you appeared, reality's code rewrote itself. Behind the scenes, chaos unfolded with surgical precision. In the main control tower of the Grand World Arena, 6 directors argued over frozen screens that refused to obey any command. They slammed switches, rebooted servers, even attempted a full signal reroute, but nothing pierced the golden distortion that swallowed the broadcast. The glitch pulses came in rhythmic waves, soft, expanding rings of light, as if the entire digital infrastructure was breathing around your frequency. The assistant director shouted, "Kill the uplink." But the uplink was already gone. Not offline, absorbed, as though the signal had been pulled inward by an unseen gravity. Every monitor showed the same impossible vision, your silhouette outlined in a shimmer that didn't behave like light or shadow, an afterimage that looked less like a human shape and more like a gateway. Some workers swore they heard a hum, a low vibration shaking their chest cavities. Others said their watches jumped ahead 3 seconds. One technician dropped to his knees, dizzy, whispering, time is skipping, time is skipping." No one listened. They were too focused on restoring the show. But the show wasn't failing. Reality was prioritizing you. Outside in the arena, tens of thousands froze mid-cheer, their voices caught in an unnatural delay. People blinked in slow motion as though their perception had been stretched at the edges. Children pointed upward, claiming the air around you had turned into liquid gold. A woman in the front row fainted when your outline pulsed with a second wave of distortion, subtly bending the stadium lights into a spiral. And still, you didn't move. You didn't speak. You didn't raise a hand. Your mere presence bent the broadcast architecture of the world's largest event. Billions watching from home leaned forward, breath held, convinced for a heartbeat that something was wrong with their TV, until they saw that strange, divine shimmer. For the first time in modern history, humans across continents shared the same instant of speechless confusion. The commentators fell silent. Their microphones buzzed. All the scripted hype collapsed into a sacred hush. You weren't supposed to be there. You weren't on any roster, any camera plan, any performance chart. Yet there you were, the glitch that wasn't a glitch, the presence reality couldn't mask, the anomaly the universe had waited to reveal. Asterisk. Security teams stormed the sidelines, expecting an intruder, but the moment they approached your radius, their earpieces erupted with static, not digital static, but a kind that vibrated through bone, through memory, through something older than sound. Their boots hit the ground a half-second late, like the laws of motion were lagging behind your presence. One guard swore his vision duplicated for a split second, as if there were 2 timelines overlapping, one where you stood still, and another where you were already turning toward him. When they tried to grab you, the stadium floor responded first. A ripple moved across the ground, subtle but undeniable, like reality tightening its grip on its own fabric. Their hands froze mid-reach, suspended in a frame that refused to advance until you allowed it. Their eyes widened in primal recognition, not fear, but a genetic memory awakening, the kind that whispers, "You've seen this before," in stories older than language. Above the stadium, the giant LED screens began to distort again. Not because of malfunction, but because your aura didn't fit within the pixel architecture. The colors on the screen shifted toward cosmic blue, the same spectral frequency found in deep space anomalies. The crowd gasped as the image of you flickered into a second layer, a tall, luminous version of yourself, made of glitching light, standing slightly behind your physical body. 2 forms. One human. One coded. Scientists later attempted to analyze that frame by frame. They couldn't agree if it was a visual echo, a temporal afterimage, or a fragment of a future version of you bleeding into the present. All they knew was that the silhouette behind you wasn't made of shadow. It was made of golden pixels, behaving more like data than matter. Inside the broadcast satellites orbiting Earth, sensors registered something extraordinary. For precisely 0.7 seconds, the exact length of the glitch, they detected a burst of non-human frequency. Not electricity. Not heat. Not magnetism. Something new. They nicknamed it the reality spike. An anomaly with a signature pattern that didn't match any known astrophysical, technological, or biological source. But it matched you. Back in the arena, a little boy sitting with his father tugged his sleeve and whispered, "Dad, he's not breaking the show. The show is showing him." Dozens of people reported the same experience, not confusion, not fear, but a sudden, overwhelming déjà vu, the sensation that they had seen this moment somewhere before, in a dream, in a prophecy, in the space between thoughts. And in that suspended second, when the entire broadcast froze around your presence, every camera lens tilted microscopically toward you, not mechanically, but instinctively, as if they weren't machines trying to capture an image, but instruments trying to honor it. Technicians tried to force the feed back into motion. They failed. The universe was busy recognizing you. When the system rebooted itself, it didn't return to normal programming. It returned to your frequency. The glitch wasn't a mistake. It was a message. A global, involuntary bow from the fabric of reality itself. A warning to every dimension. The chosen one has stepped into the frame. Prepare to recalibrate. The moment the broadcast resumed, it didn't pick up where it left off. It restarted in a different emotional frequency, softer, slower, reverent, as if the entire grand world arena had entered a dreamlike state. Commentators tried to force their voices back to normal, but their words came out delayed, warped by a subtle echo that wasn't present in the audio system. It was the echo of your presence, lingering in the stadium like the resonance of a struck bell. Slowly, the audience began to move again, but not with the restless excitement of a global event. Their motions were cautious, uncertain, like astronauts stepping onto alien terrain. Some touched their faces, convinced they had briefly forgotten who they were. Others clutched their chests, feeling heartbeats that didn't match their pulse, a symptom later dubbed temporal echo disorder, caused by exposure to your frequency. In a private suite high above the field, a group of analysts stared at biometric monitors tracking crowd reactions. Every gauge spiked during your glitch. Heart rate surged. Brainwave patterns synchronized across thousands of people, forming identical oscillations normally only seen in deep meditation. It was as though the stadium had shared a single thought for a single moment, and that thought was you. When the feed resumed worldwide, millions noticed something else. The colors in the broadcast were subtly wrong. Not corrupted, different. The reds leaned warmer. The blues carried a faint celestial tint. Shadows softened around your silhouette, as if the broadcast was gently bending the world to your outline. People rewound the moment obsessively, looking for clues. Amateurs slowed the footage. Professionals enhanced it. And every time, the result was the same. The moment you stepped into the frame, the pixels around you rippled outward in a perfect circle, a shockwave of pure data, as if reality had been compressed and recompiled to make space for you. In homes across the world, viewers felt tiny, inexplicable sensations, a tingle along the spine, a spark behind the eyes, a brief metallic taste on the tongue, the intuitive whisper that something monumental had just happened. Some looked at their clocks and saw the same impossible error. Their devices had jumped ahead exactly 3 seconds and then corrected themselves. A universal timestamp anomaly. Scientists would later claim it couldn't happen without a precise, unified disruption in spacetime. Your presence was the only variable. In the commentary room, the lead announcer tried to continue reading the scripted lines, but halfway through a sentence, he paused, blinked, and whispered into his mic, "What was that?" His co-host didn't respond. He sat frozen, staring at his own reflection in the dark monitor. Behind that reflection, and the faintest shimmer of the glass, he saw it, a tall echo of your form standing just behind you, made of flickering digital particles. He ripped off his headset. Around the stadium, phones vibrated simultaneously with no notifications. Smartwatches glowed with blank white screens. Camera drones hovering overhead drifted out of formation, tilting slightly toward where you stood. Remote viewers around the globe began posting the same sentence online, typed by countless hands within seconds of each other. The glitch felt intentional. It didn't feel like a malfunction. It felt like a curtain lifting, a veil shifting, a long silenced frequency waking up. And the longer people stared at your shape on the replay screens, the more they realized something uncanny. The glitch didn't distort reality. It revealed it. It pulled back the false layer, the broadcast, the spectacle, the illusion, and showed the raw luminous thread beneath. Your existence didn't crash the show. It exposed the truth that the show was too small to contain you. When the light stabilized, when the crowd finally exhaled, when the world resumed its orbit, one fact settled quietly into the collective consciousness. For the first time in recorded history, reality had acknowledged a single human. Not as a participant, not as a spectator, but as a force. High above Earth, in the silent vacuum where satellites drift like metallic guardians, something strange began to unfold. Telemetry officers monitoring the Grand World Arena broadcast noticed their instruments flicker, not failing, but reacting, like compasses trembling near a magnetic field. The data stream carrying the live signal developed a second layer, a faint golden thread woven into the usual binary. It wasn't interference. It wasn't corruption. It was information, but from no known source. Engineers slowed it down, zoomed in, applied filters, but the thread resisted analysis. Whenever they tried to isolate it, the signal seemed to breathe, adjusting its shape like a living waveform. The only clear moment came when a technician froze a single frame, revealing a strange structure inside the anomaly, a pattern resembling a sigil. A circular fractal. A symbol made of light. And at its center, unmistakably, your outline. Back in the arena, the commentators regained control of their voices, though they spoke cautiously now, as if afraid the air might glitch again. One attempted humor, "Well, folks, that was certainly unexpected." But his voice trembled, betraying the truth. He had felt something sacred in that moment, something no broadcast script could prepare him for. Crowd members wiped tears without knowing why. Not sadness, not fear, a profound emotional surge, the kind triggered by events that echo across timelines. People described it like seeing a memory they didn't know they had. Meanwhile, in living rooms around the world, pets reacted in startling ways. Dogs growled at the screen. Cats stared motionlessly, pupils dilating. Birds chirped in rhythmic, synchronized bursts. Behavioral experts later admitted the pattern matched one thing, a frequency shift detectable only by creatures sensitive to Earth's subtle energies. In a quiet apartment in Tokyo, a physics professor paused the broadcast and replayed the glitch frame by frame. Her breath caught as she realized the spatial distortion around you wasn't random. It formed a symmetrical pattern, a design she recognized from her research on theoretical spacetime folds. The glitch followed a curve she had only ever seen in simulations of dimensional membranes. Her hands shook as she whispered, "No human should be able to manipulate the metric of spacetime by merely existing." But you weren't no human. You were the anomaly every theory had failed to predict. Elsewhere, an elderly man watching alone felt his heart stutter, as if remembering something from decades ago. A moment in his youth when he had seen someone, or something, standing in a field with the same shimmering outline. He had convinced himself it was a dream. Now he realized it wasn't. Messages flooded social media. Did anyone else feel that? Why did my screen go gold? My clock jumped forward. I swear I saw two versions of him. This wasn't a glitch. This was a signal. In a hidden research bunker, scientists trained in anomaly detection played your footage for the 12th time. One of them, pale and sweating, pointed at the moment the glitch peak appeared. The waveform formed a harmonic ratio, 1 to 4 to 4, a frequency signature associated with cosmic alignments, not digital systems. Who is he? One whispered. The room fell silent. No one had an answer. On the field, stadium staff gathered nervously, unsure whether to approach you again. Something in their instincts screamed not out of fear, but out of reverence, the same way ancient priests avoided stepping too close to a burning altar. A woman holding a camera felt her device vibrate violently when she pointed it at you. The lens autofocused repeatedly, as if trying to capture two planes of existence at once. When she checked the recording, she gasped. The camera had captured not just your image, but a faint, ghost-like projection behind you, made of cascading symbols and shimmering fractals. It looked less like a reflection, and more like code. The crowd didn't fully understand. The commentators couldn't articulate it. The analysts couldn't quantify it. But every soul present felt one universal truth rising through the stadium like a silent revelation. Reality wasn't breaking. Reality was adjusting. To you. The Grand World Arena didn't glitch because of overload. It glitched because the fabric of existence had recognized a presence too large for its usual rules. And for a brief, breathtaking moment, Earth saw you the way the cosmos sees you, as a force that bends the narrative, as a frequency that rewrites the script, as the anomaly that reveals the truth underneath the world's illusion. Deep beneath the stadium, in the restricted lower levels of the Grand World Arena, a group of elite technicians gathered in the emergency broadcast vault, a place engineered to withstand power failures, cyber attacks, even electromagnetic pulses. But none of their protocols accounted for you. Banks of servers emitted soft golden flickers, as though backlit by an unseen sunrise. Cooling fans slowed to a gentle hum, responding not to heat, but to your frequency. Lines of code on diagnostic screens rearranged themselves without human input. What began as chaotic error logs transformed into orderly, repeating patterns, as if your presence had taught the system a new language. An engineer tapped the display, stunned. The code's aligning, he whispered. Aligning to what? Another asked. To answer, he pointed at the waveform on the main monitor, the signature anomaly that appeared at the exact millisecond you entered the frame. The waveform pulsed in a sequence. 3 beats. Pause. 3 beats. Long pulse. Almost musical. Almost intelligent. Almost alive. Back above ground, in the blinding arena lights, you took a single step, just one, and the world responded as if a god had shifted his weight. The air pressure changed. People's ears popped. The temperature dipped by 2 degrees. And a soft breeze moved through the stadium despite the fact that every vent and fan was completely still. It wasn't wind. It was reality exhaling. A sound technician monitoring the arena's acoustics gasped as the audio spectrum warped. The microphones began picking up frequencies outside the human vocal range, not static, not noise, but something harmonic and strangely beautiful. He boosted the signal, isolated the tones, and found they weren't random at all. They formed a chord, mathematically perfect, impossibly stable, the kind of resonance produced only by celestial bodies orbiting in harmony. The stadium was singing around you. Far across the world, in a quiet observatory in Chile, an astronomer reviewing cosmic background radiation noticed an unexpected spike at the exact timestamp of the glitch. When she compared it to the broadcast footage, her blood ran cold. The cosmic spike mirrored the shape of your silhouette, a perfect match. It's impossible, but it happened, she whispered to herself. Her conclusion was simple, terrifying, undeniable. The broadcast glitch wasn't local. It was cosmic. Every camera that tried to record you trembled in its gimbal, as if resisting the instinctual urge to bow. The more expensive the equipment, the more violently it shook, as though the more advanced the technology, the more clearly it recognized your anomaly. Thousands of viewers online slowed the footage, expecting to see blurred pixels or digital errors. Instead, they found something chilling. In multiple angles, the moment the glitch peaked, your shadow disappeared entirely, replaced by a faint geometric pattern etched into the floor beneath you. It looked like a seal. A sigil. A lock opening. People began posting screenshots. Why does the ground glow when he steps? This symbol wasn't there before. Look at the floor, why does it react to him? The symbol beneath you matched the cosmic waveform detected by satellites. Matched the sound chord captured by microphones. Matched the spacetime distortion noticed by physicists. Everything pointed to one truth. You didn't glitch reality. Reality recognized you. As more eyes turned to you, the feeling spread through the arena, a trembling in the bones, an instinct buried beneath centuries of noise. A collective intuition whispered, "This is not his first time here." Somewhere deep in the human psyche, older than language, older than civilizations, older than memory itself, humanity felt it. This wasn't an intruder. This was a return. A return of someone the world had once known. Once feared. Once worshipped. Once waited for. And as the stadium lights stabilized, as the sound rebalanced, as the feed fought to regain control, the universe whispered its decision into the fabric of the moment. You were not a glitch. You were the intended event. The Grand World Arena was never the show. The show was you showing up. And the universe had no choice but to pause, to recalibrate, to bow. Up in the highest VIP balcony, a place reserved for world leaders, billionaires, and hidden power brokers, a quiet panic was unfolding. Not the loud, frantic kind. The silent, wide-eyed kind that only happens when people who believe they run the world realize something above them has entered the room. A man in an immaculate suit leaned forward, knuckles white on the glass railing. "That's not possible," he whispered. His companion, an intelligence official from a nation that didn't officially exist, replied with a trembling voice, "We've seen this pattern before. Not in public, in classified cosmology reports." He tapped into a secure tablet, pulling up images from past anomalies, strange silhouettes caught in old radar scans, glowing figures seen during unexplained atmospheric events, untouchable distortions captured near ancient monuments. Every one of them shared your spectral signature. He zoomed in, overlaying the Grand World Arena glitch on the historic data. The match was perfect. "He's the same frequency," the official whispered. "Across different eras. Different structures. Different worlds." Below them, people still stared at the field, but their awe was rapidly turning into something deeper, recognition. Somewhere in their subconscious, they sensed a familiarity that didn't make sense, as if they had all dreamed of you before but forgotten until now. It wasn't fear they felt. It was memory waking up. A woman in the third row suddenly gasped and clutched her necklace, a small heirloom passed down from her grandmother. A symbol carved into its center began glowing faintly, matching the sigil beneath your feet. She staggered back, breath-shaking, whispering, "He's real, he's the one from her stories." Her grandmother had always called you the walker between frames. Security officers rushed to check on her, but when they saw the glowing symbol, they stumbled back, their radios fizzing with golden static. Outside the arena, traffic came to a halt as car dashboards flickered with the same 1:4:4 harmonic pulse. In a cafe nearby, every screen froze at the exact moment of the glitch. A barista dropped a cup, swearing she saw her reflection move 1 second after she did, a time lag ripple caused by the shockwave of your presence. Across the world, more anomalies surfaced. In a hospital, every heart monitor spiked in unity for one heartbeat. In a monastery, sacred bells rang even though no wind touched them. In a deep-sea submarine, sensors recorded a light signature at the bottom of the ocean matching your aura. In space, cosmic dust shifted into the shape of your silhouette before dispersing. Even the International Clock Synchronization Network, a system never known to glitch, documented a collective micro-delay. Exactly 0.7 seconds, just like the length of the glitch. Back inside the arena, a group of scientists from the Global Phenomena Division huddled around a portable device, trying to measure the air around you. The readings made no sense. Temperature, pressure, and radiation fluctuated in patterns not found in nature. One scientist whispered, "This is not a field. This is not energy. This is intent." As you moved, Just a slight turn of your head, the distortion field shifted with you, the sigil on the floor rotating like gears responding to your awareness.